Good evening, everyone. This is Zena from Chic as Me. How are you today? And I'm glad that you're joining me today. So, in my last video, I indicated that I was going to make a list of things that I wanted to get from Joann's before they actually closed, and I didn't have a way to get those at a local level without having to pay shipping fees and things like that. So, some of the things that I got were for now, and some are for the future. So here's the list that I actually made. I didn't get to show it to you, but this is the list. And I'm going to show you how I actually use the books. I told you what I was doing. I didn't show you what I was doing to pick those items. So what I'm going to do is actually turn the camera down a little bit so you can see. I'm going to grab an ink pen. And then I'm going to show you some things. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first book is called The New Singer Sewing Essentials book. It's this one. This is the one that I indicated was printed in 1984. And this is the book that I always use when I go to Joann's or either Walmart, maybe sometimes Hobby Lobby, to shop for things that I need. So when you open the book, it comes up on the actual equipment page or equipment pages. The first one is the sewing machine, so I didn't deal with the sewing machine. I kept flipping until I got to essential equipment, which is here on page 16 and 17. Okay. So the first item, and if you notice, I've got check marks. So every time I go, I check mark something off. So on that side, and then on this page, turn it over to the next page, and there on that side. So that's how I know what I'm missing. So on page 16, I wanted to get some more needles, sharps, silk pins, straight pins, pleating pins, quilting pins, and that's it. So I actually couldn't find the bag because I misplaced it, and it came in a bag like this, and I didn't know it, and I had lost it here in the house, but all the goodies are here in this bag, and I couldn't find it because it was actually sitting on the table next to the serger. So the first thing that I got on here, I went straight to this notion section, and I did get 2 packs of hand needles. Now, since that time, I have looked in some of my other areas, and I did find that I have one of those little rotary spool type things that have hand needles in them. But I did pick up the last 2 packs of hand needles in the store. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that off the list because I have those. And those are going to be the different sizes here that I stated in the earlier, number 1 through 5, right through there. Okay. The next thing on here was item number 6, which was silk pins. So I didn't find any silk pins. What they did have was called satin pins, and they look like this. I'm going to open them to see if they are actually just like what's in the book. So number 6 in the book says silk pins, so I didn't find those, but I had some earlier, so I'm going to take that off the list so that the next time I go, I will be able to get some. But this pin closely resembles number 8, which is the pleating pins. So I'm going to leave this off of the list and I'm gonna eventually mark this little container as satin pins. The next thing on the list were the sharps. I didn't find any sharps, and I didn't find any pleating pins. The next thing that was on the list was rotary blades, 45 millimeter. So for 2 blades, $16.99. So that wasn't a big deal at 25% off, so I didn't get them. I'm gonna wait a little while longer. Pressing cloth is next. So I did get one from there, and the lady told me where to look, and this was the actual last one that was in the store. So it looks, let me see how this looks. And I have a shelf on my ironing board, so this will actually lay on my shelf when I'm not using it. So it looks like this. I don't know if you can see it. Here you go. So I have that. The next thing was bobbins, totally empty. None. There were none. Fray check. I did find that they had the fray check, and they had about 4 or 5 packs, so I got a double. I got a pack that has a squeeze. It's a squeeze top on it. So I did get some fray check. Didn't see any glue though. The awl is next on here. And the awl was actually not in this book. It's in the second book, I think. No, it's not in this book. But here in the second book is where I looked for and saw the glue, which is right here. This is the second book, which is printed in 2008. And this is where I saw the fray check right here on page 21. And as you can see on this page, which is page 20, it shows your different pressing tools. So I already have an iron. I now have a press cloth. I don't have this. This is what is this called? A sleeve board. I don't have a sleeve board, and I don't have this pounding board, but I do have my ham, and I have the, what is this one called? A seam roll. So I do have those. So I can mark those off in the book as well. I do have a point turner, but I don't know where it is. It's on my desk, on my table somewhere. And then on the press cloth. All right. So that's how I use this book. I also have a bodkin, which is this right here on the next page. So I do have one. So that's how I got this. And this actually came from Hobby Lobby. The last book I used was the DK book. And in this book is where I talked about the different scissors and the awl. So on page 11 of this book, I showed you the awl. And I did find one. It's just right here. I also found there was I talked about finding my mom's tracing wheel. She actually had two, but I can't find the one that I mentioned. I mentioned the one that had a green handle. I don't have that one. I can't find it. But I did find this one, and it's red. So I do have one of those. As far as all the marking tools that are on this page, this is the book I used to get my marking tools, a good bit of them. I got this somewhere. I've got this. I've got one of those. I've got one of those. And I've got all kinds of different pens and pencils. Some that have actual retractable and refillable lids. Oh, the other thing was this thing called a flexible curve right here. I didn't find it. Not saying they didn't have it, but I didn't find it. And my point turner looks like this. It is here. I gotta find it. It's this one. So I did use this book to get it because it looks exactly like this. And the other thing that was in this book that I wanted to get was what's called a darning mushroom. However, they didn't have a darning mushroom. They actually had a darning egg. I got the last of, there was only two left. I got one of them. What else is on this page? I talked about these brushes here to clean the machine. These right here. I have this one that came with the machine. Then I bought one from Singer that's similar to this one. See if you can see that. So it is quite nasty, this one. And this one I just don't even use it. But what I did, I mentioned that I was going to purchase some paint brushes because somebody also uses paint brushes to actually clean their machine. And so I did get some paint brushes. But I ordered them from Amazon. It was a set for $3.99, and I actually got free shipping. So I got this one, and I mentioned that I wanted one with a fan tip and a broad tip. So how do you get in here? Here we go. This is the one I want right here with the fan tip. And then the other one that I want is the one with the little broad tip, which is it's kind of flat, but it is bigger. It's a little round on the end, this one. So those are the two that I will be using to clean my machine. And I'll just save these. Maybe I'll give them to my husband to paint with, because he does paint when it strikes him. So have those. And that was all in this book. Now, besides the first book, I did talk about the quilting pens. They did have quilting pens. So I got the last 2 packs of the large containers right here. And these each have 500 pieces, and I actually need to go in the book and I used the first book to get those. So I'm gonna actually update my list to show that I did get some. Okay, I did get another container of 1914 needles by Schmetz, which this one does not say Microtech on it. It is a universal. This was the last pack of Schmetz needles in the store. So I'm gonna use these with my serger. I did need some stitch witchery for something. I want to tack something down, so I got a pack of that. And then the last item I got from the store, I always need elastic for something, and I'm always shooting to the store at last minute to get some elastic. So when I got there, I noticed that they had these cubes of elastic. And I don't know how many rolls are in here, but I'm getting ready to find out. So it's a small spool, and it has 3 rounds on it. So there's a total of 18 yards. So that's 6 yards each roll or each spool. And this is the 3/4 inch. They were out of all of the other ones. Like the most common is 1 inch, 1/2 inch. Those were out of stock. They did have some that was played over, which was the 1/4 inch, and the looks like kind of reminds you of a scrunchy type elastic. So the looks like a coil. Those 2 boxes that were left had been played over, and I didn't feel like trying to figure out how much was left on the spool, so I left them. So that other than the other items that's left on here, the thread was picked over. Gutermann, I've never seen Gutermann. Almost out. It was almost out on the shelf or the rack. So was the Coats and Clark. Coats and Clark was severely picked over. Both had a 40% off of the pricing. The duckbill scissors, what I want to use for appliques and things, they didn't have any, so I'm gonna have to look for those online. The last item that I did get was some interfacing, and I needed some lightweight, but they didn't have it in white. They had everything else but in the interfacing. I mean, if you wanted it, if you needed it, you could get it, except like the lightweight. So I was able to get 1 bolt of lightweight fusible interfacing in gray. This is the only bolt of fusible lightweight that they had, and it was $3 and some change, I think, on sale, well, with the actual discount. So that's how I use these books. I actually take them with me. But some other things that I had showed you, one thing I had showed you was this magnet. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to open up the other pins and put them on here. Here's those Raggedy Fist scars. I'm going to use them. Let's see how well they do. Whoa. It works pretty darn good, if I must say so myself. So the husband went on another field trip for me, and I also needed a magnet. So he went back to Harbor Freight. That's his store, y'all. He loves going in that place. And he did pick me up a magnet. And this thing has some weight on it. So it says on here, it has a 15-pound capacity. But I'm going to drop a pin on the floor just to see what I can get. It has a telescoping end. So let's see if it really picks up. You don't even have to go far and it gets it. So yes, I got my magnet. I'm glad of that. And some other treasures that I got from my mom. Well, two more treasures. She had these scissors. This is what she cut denim with. Don't don't know what the length is. I think this is maybe a 9 inch, but I'm getting ready to find out. It's a 10 and a 10 and a quarter, it looks like. But these are the scissors that she used to cut denim with. And they are not sharp and they are very loose. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got a place here in the greater Atlanta area. I'm gonna have these serviced and tightened up. And these are by Singer. I did find my pinking shears. I actually purchased them last year, and I purchased them on eBay, and they work good. I love them. I also have, I'm gonna have a sheath like this. I'm gonna find it. It actually is imprinted with gingham, but I want to find one for the pinking shears as well. But here are my snips, and this is what I use to snip threads when I'm sewing. Like that. So these are gingham as well. So once I get the duck bills, I will have a complete set, I think. Oh, excuse me. I also have my clapper here. So I do have a clapper. So most of my supplies are actually complete. There's just a couple of things that I think I can get later on. Here's one of the marking tools. I love this one because the chalk is a powder inside, and it is by Clover. So it has a wheel on the end, and it really works very well, especially on your wovens. And then this is the shears that I do use every day now are these black ones I told you about. I actually found the box for them. These scissors come with them. These are the scissors that I use when I'm crocheting, and they look like a duck. Shaped like a duck, has eyes like a duck and everything. It has a pair of snips. And I use these two items when I'm crocheting, but these stay on the table now. This is a set, and I did find the set online, and I will link this entire set in the description box below. So that is the end of, well, wait a minute. These are the other items from my mother. I don't know how these work, and I don't know if they work. So I've got to try them. These are her scissors from Singer. And they're electric. I don't know if they work, but I am going to find out. And I had been thinking about that I wanted some electric scissors, and I had been seeing different people use them. So what I'm going to do, since I do have some, I'm going to take these two pieces to the repair shop and let them have at it. So that is all of my supplies. I hope these supplies inspire some of you to use Joann's, not just because of fabric, but to go ahead and stock up on some of the notions that you need, some of the equipment that you may need, because you never know, you may not get another sale like what we're getting now. So thank you guys for coming along on this essential items trip with me. And as always, y'all be blessed.